G'day everyone. So let's have a look at how to manage your team or add users into Simply Business. If you're a solo operator, some of this will still be relevant for you. You can still manage some of your own profile in the Teams area, but you can probably stop once we start looking at how to add users until you hire some more staff. So if you've watched the Getting Started video, you'll have seen how to set up your user profile, and then you'll see that's why I have my profile picture there displayed. And if you haven't done that, I suggest going to watch that now click the link here or wherever it is in YouTube, and watch that and then come back here, because it's really important to go through the getting started and get set up properly before you start using the rest of Simply Business. So once we're in this area, you will see your user profile. And just to start with, we're going to have a look at what you can see in there. So a lot of what was in the profile from the settings, but there's a few extra things here. One of the first things you can do is set what group you're in. Now, if you're a solo operator, you're probably everything. So you can just make yourself CEO, I guess. But otherwise, you can select what group the user is in. And if the group isn't there, what happens often in Simply Business is you can just create a new role. So if I just add a new group, yes, I'll add the new group. And now I've got a CEO group. Now, we already set our time zone in the profile, but there's a new option here to select your date format. So if you are in the United States, you might want to set it to month, day, year. If you're in the rest of the world, you could do it as day, month, year. And if you want it to be universal format, where we've got day of the week, date, month, and year, I like that one. We went through how to set up your search filters, and now we've got a couple of extra options to do with billing. So firstly, you can set how much the user or team member is costing you. So let's say you're paying them $50 an hour, and then the billable rate is how much you charge out to your customers. So that's $150 an hour. And the last thing you can set up in the user profile is what access the user has to the system. So as you're adding staff, you can limit them to what they can see, or even for yourself, if there are apps that you're not using, say for example, you're not using support tickets, you can just turn that off. You can always go back in and turn it on later, but initially, if you're not going to use it, then you don't need to see it in the menus, and you can just turn it off. So if we go down to access settings, a couple of things here. You can turn off the ability to access settings or not. The only thing you can't turn off is manage team. And the reason for that is if you turn off manage team for yourself, you won't be able to then get into here to turn it back on, and you would lock yourself out. So you can't do that. And then the rest of them you can just turn on and off. The only one which is a little different is if you turn off the access to quotes, you will also obviously lose the ability to approve quotes. But if you turn on access to quotes, you don't necessarily get the ability to approve them. Now, what this is for is just basically if you've got some staff that you don't quite trust with quoting yet, you can set yourself to approve the quotes. They can create them. And this just stops quotes going out that are either well under or well over quoted. Then you have the ability to turn on and off the ability to manage projects, manage the customers, manage support tickets, invoices, files, and viewing reports. Now, viewing reports is probably one that you might not want all of your staff to have, because that really will give an overview of how well your business is doing, which may or may not be something you want to share with all of your staff. So certainly have it on for yourself, but you may want to turn that off for your staff members or some of your staff members. So that's setting up a user profile, including access permissions. So that's pretty easy. Now, the next thing you can do is see a list of items that are associated with the user. So for example, you can see all the files that user has uploaded or have been associated directly with that user. So my profile picture is there. I can also browse to say this video and upload the video. And now that once it's done, that video is associated just with my user. You can see all of the support tickets that have been associated with this particular user. You can see any discussion that has been about this user. So I could say, he's such a great guy. It's like a LinkedIn post. And then finally, you can see the timesheet and every time entry that's been entered by this user. So then to add a new user, it's very simple. Just go back into the teams list and click on new team member. And then we have here the ability to add our user. So there's some required information we've got to enter. So let's call this another guy. We'll call him another guy. Another guy, that'll do. Password, let's set something very secure. And you can set what group they're in. So this can be a marketing person. They are in Melbourne with me. They are going to use the non-US date format. they'll remember their search filters for 8 hours, and they will cost me $10 an hour because I'm very cheap, and I'll bill them out at $300 an hour to make good profit. And I'll give them access to leads and customers because they are in marketing. And that's done. So now I have added I don't want to save the password now, thanks Chrome. I've added another guy. Now I didn't do a profile picture, so everywhere we go within the system, we're just going to see AG. But then once I provide them their login, they can go in and put their own profile picture in. And that's it. That's how to set up your team. It's pretty easy.